Long before my time with MMORPGs and during my RPG phase, the PlayStation consumed many hours of my life with its many tales of fantasy. We got our PlayStation really late in comparison to a lot of other people, but in some ways that was super helpful, because that meant used RPGs for PS1 were pretty cheap for a child who lacked an allowance and a job. I remember a lot of these games fondly, but there was one game that I had my eyes on for a while, and that was Warrior VII. I still remember browsing Enix's website for all the information I could get on the game, and I had saved up money for an entire year to purchase it as soon as it came out. The excited feeling I got from checking the website is something I still get when I think back to that time too. The funny thing was, I had never played any actual Dragon Quest games prior to this, and honestly, I hated Warrior VII at first. I expected it to play like Tornico the Last Hope, which was my first introduction to the Dragon Quest series, although it was a spin-off. So I went into the game thinking it would be a roguelike, which it clearly was not. However, as time went on, I grew to like this game more and more. As this long adventure unfolded, there was one place that never lost its magic for me, and that was the Ancient Ruins, the place that changed the world of Warrior VII forever. The Ancient Ruins, which goes by many names, is the first place you explore in the game. It's a set of ruins on the island that the main characters live on, and the only island in the world. And by that, I mean the entire world is water besides this one island. The main characters often explored these ruins for fun, and in many ways, it was similar to the stomping grounds that kids would normally have. It had a very Goonie-like feeling to it, and it reminded me of hanging out on a playground by yourself on the weekend. That may sound depressing, but on the weekend, you were sort of king of the castle, when no one else was there. I was often inside my own head most of the time I spent wandering outside, and the ruins in Warrior VII had the same feeling to me. Having a place like that to explore as a child with friends would have been a dream come true, but within the game wasn't too shabby either. The ruins feature many interesting puzzles throughout the maze-like interior. Thinking back to it now, I really don't know why these puzzles exist either. For those of you who don't know, Warrior VII was all about restoring the forgotten past. As you progressed through the game, you would find broken stone shards that needed to be arranged and set onto magical stone pedestals. Once you completed the puzzle, you would be able to travel to the past and explore that part of the world. Upon solving the dilemma of that area, that island would then appear in the present world, and everyone would freak out due to a giant landmass suddenly appearing. So it always made me wonder why there were tons of puzzles inside these ruins, and if these puzzles were always just puzzles, or if they had different uses in the past. People say that these ruins were marked as forbidden, but are also the burial grounds of the royal family. Were these puzzles to deter thieves? Or did they simply say it was a royal family burial ground so that people would respect the area and leave the dead to rest? Regardless of what it is, this area was a place I always loved to come back to in the game. The thing about Warrior VII is that this game is insanely long. By far the longest game I've ever played. My save file was almost 300 hours, and I didn't even get to the bonus dungeons. Once you clear these ruins, you could teleport to the end of them, where most of the world building took place in the game. However, because of that, you never went through the actual ruins ever again because it was pointless. There were no monsters, no treasures, and no secrets to be found. However, this environment did create a feeling that I really don't know how to explain, and it was the only game I've ever played to create this feeling. The best way I can describe it is double nostalgia. You have the nostalgia of revisiting this area from your childhood, but also the nostalgia that is created due to how long the game actually is. Because the journey is well over 200 hours long, or 300 to some, the timeline in the game itself creates nostalgia as you sit in these ruins and think about how long ago you actually started your journey. I never left my system running, so if I played an average of 8 hours a day, which is pretty much like working full time, it would take me 37.5 days to reach that point. At 4 hours a day, that becomes 75 days. Very quickly, the sheer amount of time this game requires becomes a second part of your life, and these feelings you have in real life carry over because of that. It creates a nostalgia that can only manifest itself in absurdly long games, and it offers a unique feeling. That's what kept me going back to the ruins. I'd walk through the halls of the ruins and remember the long journey I had taken to restore the world, and the excitement of starting this journey into mystery I embarked on so long ago. Because of that, the ruins from Dragon Warrior VII will always be one of my pixel portals. But now that I've shared my thoughts with you, I'd of course like to hear what you think. What was your favorite RPG growing up? Do you have a favorite Dragon Quest game? And what were your favorite or worst memories from Dragon Warrior VII? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, thanks for tuning in to my trek through the ruins of the past. If you'd like to join me on my YouTube voyage and sneak out at night to explore the world, then the subscribe button is just what you're looking for. Thanks for watching, guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers. You've made it to the end of the video, but wait, your quest isn't over yet. If you're looking for some more nostalgic RPG content, why not check out my pixel portal on the sunken ship from Super Mario RPG? It was one of my favorite areas in the game. On the other hand, you can always check out my last pixel portal on Facility from GoldenEye 007, one of the greatest multiplayer maps ever conceived. If throwing knives into vents and retrieving stranded cats are your thing, then that video is probably for you. As always, there's a slew of other videos on my channel too, so regardless, I hope you enjoy.